So there's several different reasons why I decided that maybe I wanted to play DCS as a backseater and play Microsoft Flight Simulator as a backseater and, various other game simulators and everything like that. So here's one funny reason. I actually kind of ended up wanting to be a backseater more than I wanted to be a pilot. Reason being was the Navy wouldn't let me fly because I had a color vision deficiency, and I thought in my young, very impressionable and very ignorant mind that the military was a meritocracy, and if I proved myself eventually, they would let me do something along the lines of the job that I really wanted. And I figured maybe I could compromise, meet them halfway, and say, hey, you know what, I'll be a WSO, I'll sit in the back of F-18s if I can't sit in the front. So despite how minor that this color vision issue was, I never found a way around it. I couldn't even work on jets. I couldn't do any single job in aviation at all, anywhere in the military. And the whole reason I took the job that I did take was I got told that I could be on an EP3 if I did good in A school, which is the school you go to after boot camp. That turned out to not be true. So despite having to say the words honor, courage, and commitment about 500 times in a row in the first 10 days that I was in the Navy, I didn't see much of that in the entire time I was there, and I'll just be straight with you guys. So after being enlisted for 8 years and not making any progress on that front, I decided that I'd had enough. I didn't want to get commissioned, I didn't want to make a career out of it, and I went on to live a pretty happy and content civilian life. But I developed a fascination with being a backseater that was as crazy as my desire to be a pilot. Fighter jets are kind of a niche thing to be fascinated with, and the idea of wanting to be a backseater more than a front seater eventually kind of became my identity. To some degree, I understood why they didn't want me to fly aircraft, but why I couldn't do everything else in them was kind of beyond me. But luckily, it's 2023, and I have a computer. But now, here's the more specific reasons why I decided that I would rather be a backseater than I would be a front seater, even in the virtual flying world. So about all I have as far as equipment goes is this microphone that I'm using right here, this webcam, a keyboard, a mouse, and this is a Thrustmaster HOTAS 4 that works with the PC and the PlayStation 4. I bought it primarily for Ace Combat 7. And a setup like that is just fine for something like Ace Combat 7, Project Wingman, which I've played the first couple of missions of. I haven't done anything else with it yet, but I will. I have to reinstall it, actually. And I decided that I wanted to give DCS a go. I'd been wanting to give it a go, and DCS has 2 free aircraft that come with the base game, which is the TF-51 and the Su-25. Eventually, I am going to get more stuff. I'm going to get some instrument panel stuff. I'm going to get, the track IR stuff and everything like that. But in the meantime, trying to fly, when I had a 32-inch TV before and I have a 27-inch monitor now, trying to fly on that and use the mouse to flip the switches and operate the instruments and everything like that while still flying with the Thrustmaster stick and using like the control hat to look around and everything like that, it actually wasn't a whole lot of fun for me. What I decided to do was, since DCS has modules with 2-seat aircraft, I think that that's where I'm going to start at. As you can tell by the hockey sweaters behind me, I'm a really big fan of the F-14. It's actually my second favorite fighter, though. My favorite one is the F-16, and the cool thing about it is there's a mod for the F-16 for the F-16I, which is the SUFA, which has a backseat capability to it, and of course the good old F-16D. The one I'm really excited about is the Strike Eagle. I'm really looking forward to getting to the F-15E module. I think I'm going to start with the F-14 though, and then start working on some other ones and everything like that. And from what I understand, Microsoft Flight Simulator has some mods where you can play in like F-16Ds and stuff like that. So I think I could make like a really niche type of playlist where it's all being RIO stuff, WSO stuff, and I think that that could be really cool because there's a lot of really awesome DCS YouTube channels out there that also play games like IL-2 Stormovic. Growling Sidewinder is really good. I love his videos. The Grim Reapers, I like their videos and everything like that. And I think that if I'm a dedicated backseat guy, I would love to work with someone like that one day, and that just really be my craft. The other things that I think would be really cool to do is, like, if I'm specialized in doing backseat stuff, I can learn a whole lot about multiple platforms. And then when I'm ready, when I have enough money to really make the flight sim setup that I want to make one day, and that's going to be at least, probably a couple of years from now before I can really even think about doing that. But in the meantime, this is something that I think that I'll have a whole lot of fun with, and I can learn the game in a different way from a lot of other people, and I can be that guy who's dedicated to learning the weapon system officer and radar intercept officer aspects of these simulators, and I can, you know, make instructional videos once I learn what I'm doing and all that type of stuff and share them with everybody else. Like, for example, the HOTAS that I just showed you, basically I'm going to use like the stick for the TID in the back of the F-14 and everything like that. I'll use that in that type of capacity. Use the control hat on the back of it to, you know, use the look function, and I'll be able to use the mouse to click instruments and everything like that. And reading some of the stuff that Paco Benitez has put out about being a guy who was a Strike Eagle WSO, but got to go on an exchange program and got to fly a sortie in an F-18F, I thought that was really cool. Having somewhat of a kind of an EW background, I'm really fascinated by the EA-18G Growler. So any type of module I can find to where I could sit in the Growler would be really cool. I'm a very big fan of Vietnam era aircraft, so being the guy in the back of an F-4 or being the Bombardier Navigator on an A-6, which from what I understand both those planes will eventually be coming to DCS, I'm really excited about that both. I'm very fascinated with the A-6. Flight of the Intruder is one of my favorite books ever, and I'm going to make a really long, extensive video about that in the future. So that's it for me tonight, just a little short thing talking about what I'm planning to do with DCS. Like I said, I don't know which module I'm going to do yet, but I think that I'm going to go with the F-14 first, and I'll make a whole bunch of videos about that. I'm already reading up on each of them, trying to, you know, learn some of the buttonology, learn some of the procedures and everything like that, and how I would interact with the pilot, whether it's a real pilot or an AI pilot, and hopefully sometime in the near future I can be everyone's go-to backseater and jump in, you know, some servers and everything like that. I would absolutely love to do that. So I just wanted to let y'all know that. Have a good evening and good hunting.